this. Get this thing going. Okay. All right. Jesus. Oh man, really am I. Okay. All right. You know, my mouth feels a little dry. I mean, okay. All right, guys.
There's already a bunch of people watching.
I got my dog. Okay. All right. Seriously. So, okay, listen. All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of Hardwork, Bad Decisions. The good, the bad, the ugly. Let's talk about it. Starring myself, Gilbert Jamal Smith, and my homie, Dylan King. Okay. Before we get into it, we're going to talk about a couple of things real quick. I want to give a big congrats to my homie Dylan for winning his fight last week.
Thank you, Coach.
How'd you feel with that fight?
I felt really good. I felt strong. It was over quick, but it was probably one of the most fun nights of my life.
Yeah. You killed it, man. First round submission on triangle. And then Zarek Jackson, he won his fight too by third round TKO. So big congrats to him. And another quick shout out to my homie Caleb. He's fighting next week. Actually, this week, Friday.
Yep, on Friday.
Yeah, this week, Friday. And to the little homie Louise, man, he had a boxing tournament. Things didn't turn out the way he wanted to turn out. He didn't get a chance to compete, but he did take home a medal just for showing up. And he's because of that, he's going to be able to fight in regionals. And the last little bit, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and supporting me during my break. I stopped doing the podcast because I wanted to focus on jiu-jitsu and be totally focused on some tournaments. All right, let's get to the topic. Weed, marijuana, cannabis.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
How do you feel?
So for the people that didn't see, today my homie over here brought over a blunt. You know, do you call it a Philly blunt? Because that's what we used to.
Technically, it was a joint.
A joint?
Yes.
He's correcting me. Okay.
You gotta get the terms right, Coach.
Okay, it was a joint. So. It wasn't a blunt. Maybe I listened to too much rap. So he brought over a joint for me to smoke it because a lot of times I give him and some of the other guys, you know, that partake in the cannabis, I give him a lot of hard time for smoking and whatnot. And he tell me there's a lot of benefits to smoking weed.
There is. I mean, for me personally, I use it for pain relief. You know, we as fighters, we train hard a lot, and for the little pains, it's great. And focus is another one for BJJ. When I come in and I've smoked before, I feel like I can focus much better.
Yeah, you do come in and smell like weed, and I call you out every time.
But am I not focused and paying attention?
Yeah, you do come in and you do work hard. So Caleb sometimes get a little silly.
Caleb's always a little silly, though.
Okay, man. So let's get deep into this conversation because, you know, most people know me as being the old school conservative when it comes to smoking and drinking, and I give you guys a hard time because I have these set values that I believe that I believe that my body don't need anything extra to be successful, to be focused, or to go out and have a good time. But I keep hearing from other people, man, you know, when it comes to weed and things like that, that it just helps people to calm down and to fix other problems. So my question to you, if I took away any substance from you, any weed substance, how do you think you would, you know, be able to maintain without any extra help?
I think I would be fine. I'm sure everybody says that. You know, it's probably a cliche, but I've not smoked for a long periods of time before and done just fine. But I feel, you know, it's a personal choice, right? I can if I want, and so we're in a legal state, thank goodness.
Yeah.
And so
let's do a backdrop story, if you don't mind. And like, if I ask anything that's too personal, it's okay to say, hey, that's a little too personal. But when did you start?
I was probably right before high school.
Okay.
My mom caught me one time.
Yeah, your mom caught you?
Yep, and I lied to her and got in some trouble for that one.
Okay.
Once I got a little bit older, you know, it was more my choice. I got to do what I wanted. I moved out of my house, paid my own bills, so I get to do.
So then you were smoking. You were smoking up.
Oh yeah.
And you got your own spot.
Yeah, because why not, right?
Yeah. Okay. So in 2012, I believe that was the election that Obama was running for the second time.
Okay.
Was it 2000? No. I'm tripping. Man, hold up, man. It was 2008. It was 2008. And during that election year, Colorado was also voting to legalize marijuana for rec use.
Yes.
Okay. And I remember I took my kids to vote, which is the first time I ever voted. And I voted no.
Okay.
I voted no to legalize marijuana. And I tell you the reason why I voted no. Not because I wholeheartedly didn't like the concept. I just felt like I could not tell my kids to go smoke and feel like I'm being a good parent. So why would I allow other kids to smoke? Okay. So I voted no. And I'm pretty sure by me saying that I'm not probably the most liked person. But was you feeling a certain type of way during that election year? If you could remember back then, like were you happy, or did you vote, or could you vote?
Actually, I was still in Texas when that happened.
Okay.
And I moved up here the year after.
Did you move here because it became legal?
No, that's not the only reason.
Yeah.
I had been in Texas my whole life, and that was time to leave. But that was definitely one of the benefits.
Okay.
I would have to say that as far as the kid part goes, it should be like alcohol.
Yeah, 21 and over.
It is, yeah, and it should be really regulated as far as that goes. I don't condone any kids smoking weed.
Okay.
Because once your mind gets to a certain level, then it's developed as far as it can, and so then I think it's okay.
Okay. So speaking of that, I mean, let's break down some pros and cons and some myths. Probably some things you could correct me on, and maybe some things I can correct you on. But I'm obviously going to be the negative Nancy over here. So one of the cons to smoking weed is that people would say that weed is a gateway drug to worse things.
People say that.
Okay,
yes,
and so because I think about it, anybody that I know, and I'm from New York, I'm from Jersey, I'm from the street, so I know a lot of people that have partake in worse stuff like cocaine, crack, heroin, and all of them would tell you they smoke weed. They started out with some alcohol and some weed.
Okay.
So the track record, from my knowledge, from my personal experience, comes from maybe started with some alcohol, then you go to some weed, and next you're a crack whore in the corner, selling your booty for some joints.
It definitely doesn't work like that.
Okay.
I would have to say those people were probably going to get into those situations regardless. It might have, piqued their interest, but I don't think that that's the reason they went on to further things.
I mean, the argument could be made that, okay, you're looking to get high, right? And then you get high from weed, and then it's like, okay, that's fine, that's okay. You're a little bit high, and next thing you know, you want something a little bit stronger. You want to see if you can take it to the next level. So maybe you pop some pills, you take some heroin, and like I said, you become a crack whore in the corner selling your booty for joints.
Well,
you know about that, huh?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
They do say that people who are coming off of drugs like heroin and crack and alcohol, that when they're trying to rehabilitate, that marijuana can help, and since it's not such an addictive substance, it's easier for them to use that and not go back to the stuff they were using before.
So you consider weed not to be addictive?
Not nearly. I feel the act might become repetitive, but I don't feel that it's a mental, thing that whenever you quit smoking weed, you will need to, it yourself if you don't have it.
Okay. Yeah, because I know some people who like cannot function without smoking a joint or doing whatever every day, and that sounds to me very addictive.
Yeah, I think some people can be like that, and they can take it to the next level. I think it from person to person things vary. It's all about your personal preference. You know, how far do you want to go with it?
Okay, well, just to give you guys an update, like I said, about maybe 20, 30 minutes ago, I smoked some weed with my homie Dylan. I'm doing all right. I'm actually not feeling it too much. You know, I don't know. I mean, do I look different? Do I sound different?
They think you look pretty funny.
Yeah. I do feel a little bit of an urge to like giggle a couple times, but yeah, I think I feel like
see, it's not like what people make it out to be if you've never smoked weed before. You know, it's not like the old days of marijuana or reefer madness, right?
Okay.
Where you're gonna shoot your friend. You know, that's not how it works. It's those were all propaganda.
Okay.
And there's reasons why those were made that way.
So you're on board with the idea that no one under 21 should be smoking.
Yes.
And partially because their brains haven't fully developed,
exactly.
And to be taking substance like weed, it could be more harmful to them than, let's say, a fully developed adult.
Exactly.
Because I'm glad you said that, because I actually read some information that stated that the people that started smoking weed as a child tend to have a lower IQ than people that start smoking weed as an adult, because their brains haven't fully developed. And they did studies on not only kids and adults, but also like twins.
Okay.
So
twins, one who hadn't smoked and one who
yeah, and it showed that weed did affect the person that was smoking when they was younger than someone who started when they was older. But that brings me to my next point, that weed does have a negative effect on your mental, have a negative effect on the way you think, your emotions.
I think that's all about who you are, you know, because a lot of people use it for positive reasons, you know, medical reasons. And there's a lot of positivity behind it, as far as people coming together from all over the world.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just about who you are and what you want to be. Okay.
I mean, I dig that. However, the studies show that someone, and then based off an IQ test.
Okay. And
it said, you know, even two adults, one who has, and they come with similar upbringings, similar backgrounds. One person had, I wish I had the thing in front of me, but it was saying that one person had 4 to 10 points lower IQ. And they did say that a lot of things could come into play with that. Obviously, you got two different bodies.
Yeah.
You could have
some people are just dumber.
Yeah. You can have genetics and things like that. But it did show also that if you started when you was young, those effects could be permanent than compared to if you started when you're an adult. But once again, it's going back to your brain probably not being fully developed.
Exactly, and that's one thing. That's one reason why I do think it should be regulated pretty extensively. You know, I don't feel like kids should be able to smoke weed as they please.
Okay, well, since you have made, you know, your debut in mixed martial arts, and it was a successful debut, so you could make the argument easily that weed didn't affect you at all, since you went out there and it was very successful. What is your take with weed or marijuana, cannabis, or aka whatever you want to call it, in sports, particularly combat sports? And I know you mentioned earlier that it helps you recover and all those things, but what do you like when people go get drug tested like USADA?
Yeah.
And you get pot with weed like Nick Diaz?
Yeah.
You know,
Kelvin.
Should he get punished? Yeah, Kelvin Castellum. Should he get punished for having weed in his system?
I don't think so, because I would not ever put it in a performance enhancing category. It doesn't make you perform any better. And the way I think USADA changed rules is 6 hours before or after the fight.
True.
You're not allowed to smoke.
Yes.
You can use
So you cannot like fight and be under the influence of anything, weed or alcohol. So you're right.
Which that makes perfect sense. I completely understand that, and I don't think it's too hard for fighters not to smoke 6 hours before or after.
Okay.
I do think that maybe smoking is not the best because we do a sport that depends a lot on cardio.
Yes.
That is probably one of the most negative effects that you could.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
argue.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's probably going to be something else I was going to talk about because it like from the research I read that by smoking weed, it does hinder your lungs capacity. Because anytime you bring it in smoke, because weed does, I mean, I would say some of it is toxins. You bring it into your body. It is going to hinder your the function of your lungs, and also they spoke about your heart rate. It makes your heart rate go a lot faster. So people that's older or don't have a weak heart, it could maybe cause a heart attack if you're not used to smoking weed, especially if you smoke too much.
Okay, my argument for the smoking would have to be the most popular one that people would know about would be Michael Phelps.
Okay.
Right, he does a sport that's also pretty reliant on cardio. He is the most winningest champion in the Olympics.
Yes.
Right, and so they have video of him smoking a bong.
Yeah.
And they say that it helps with lung capacity.
Yeah.
Right, and so I think maybe if you were to do things the right way, cleanly, that you can still see benefits from it.
Okay, I see that.
I would have to say eating or taking like a THC pill would probably be the best way to get the effects, the relief, without
smoking.
Yeah, the cons of smoking.
And obviously, because we first talked about doing this, and we talked about me taking an edible, and then but we decided to smoking a joint because the edible sometimes could have certain risks because it could be the inconsistency of the THC levels, and we don't know if it has a lot or a little bit, and it takes a long time to have an effect. So a lot of people would take an edible and feel like, man, I'm not feeling nothing. So they take more to either to hurry up the effects or because they feel like they need to take more because they're not feeling the effects.
Yes.
And next you know, they are going bonkers.
Yes, that's one thing.
Like feeling paranoid. Like,
yes.
yo, I'm feeling paranoid. No, I'm all right.
People definitely get affected differently with the edibles. They can definitely hit you like a ton of bricks. Patience is a virtue.
Yeah.
When you're taking edibles, take a small bit, wait for a while. Don't rush it. You're not trying to get the effects immediate. You want to do it the right way.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's some good information there because you definitely want to do things the right way. Because people are going to do whatever they're going to do. So
yes.
So we definitely want people to be safe. My take, and it's just me. I'm never going to change. Is I don't need weed or anything to have a good time or to be a better me. I like to just focus on whatever task I have to do. But I guess it helps some people.
Yeah. So I would have to say, do you take ibuprofen or anything like that?
Typically, no.
Okay. A lot of people take Advil and ibuprofen a lead.
I see where you're gonna go with this. Pain. Okay, go ahead. Make your point.
So those kill people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Go ahead, make your point. I'm ready.
The weed does not kill anybody.
Oh yeah, weed doesn't kill no one. True facts.
That's fact.
Okay.
And so I think there's a much safer benefit. Even the things that people are giving you over the counter are dangerous. The weed that I get and that we have access to in this state.
Does weed make you sweat, man? Like, yo, I'm getting like boob sweat.
You nervous?
Nah, I feel better now. I was nervous.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, the weed calmed me down, but it's making me sweat. I'm getting boob sweat. Okay. All right.
Go put some deodorant on.
Yeah. Okay, so I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Weed is a better,
much safer
alternative than some of the painkillers, and because painkillers could become addictive.
Exactly.
It is super powerful, and it can have a lot of negative effects. And that is true, and I do agree with that.
In the sport we are in, we do take damage, and we get hurt, and a lot of doctors are willing to give those out. Yeah,
they give out painkillers like it's nothing. Right. Okay, but the argument against weed for painkillers, and it's not actually weed fault, because weed is still a class 1 drug on the federal level. Yeah. So a lot of research places have the ability to research the true effects or the long-term effects of weed. So people can't recommend like dosage offenses. if you go and you have surgery or you injure yourself, so the doctor could recommend take 400 milligrams of Motrin or whatever.
Which those still affect people differently as well.
True. But the fact that like people just say smoke a blunt or eat some edibles, and there's no true medical scientific research done that how much weed it takes for me to have pain relief compared to like something of traditional medical stuff like like a Motrin, something like that.
So they are working as far as CBD. They have that down to a pretty good measurement.
Yeah, CBD. Yeah.
You take I think it's 0.8 of a milliliter or something like that per day.
Okay.
And those things help with inflammation and there's a ton of benefits: anxiety, depression, all kinds of stuff that helps with CBD.
So speaking about CBD and things like that, like what form of CBD would you recommend? Because I've seen like from like the creams to the oils, the drink, they put CBD in water now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like it's getting pretty crazy. Like,
I think whatever's easiest for you and what you feel the benefits from. I prefer to use a CBD oil that you put under your tongue.
Okay.
You leave it there for a minute, it absorbs a little bit, and that's what I prefer to use. It tastes good, and I don't have to rub anything all over me.
Okay, so I hate to go back to this. Because I feel like in some aspects we're on the same page. In some aspects, I think we're not, meaning that you said that you do feel like kids, so if somebody's under 21 should not be smoking.
Yeah.
Okay. But you did it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Monkey see,
I get it. I fully understand. I've done a lot of things in my past. I tell my kids not to do it, although I did it.
Well, that's what we do as, people. We learn from other people's mistakes.
But how do you tell someone not to when they see you doing it?
That's a hard one.
Like,
I can only imagine.
And see you doing it consistently, and then hear you talking about the positive effects.
So my benefit, I wouldn't tell anybody not to do it. I wouldn't tell them to do it. I want them to make up their own mind, right? But I think they should do it safely. Yeah, I don't think you should be irresponsible. It's not like you wouldn't drink 12 beers and then try and drive your car.
Okay.
Right. I think you should do it the right way. And we, in this state, luckily, we have the resources that we can do that.
Okay. Well, I mean, speaking about resources, I mean, that's one of the good things about weed is the money that it has brought into the state of Colorado. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing with the money.
Definitely not fixing potholes.
Yeah, I know, right? We got potholes everywhere, and still the school systems still need a lot of work. And I was hoping that a lot of the money that come from weed will go into the school systems and help build up the youth in a more positive way. But it has put Colorado in a position that we are not hurting. We got surplus with our tax revenues. So I mean, I guess that's the argument for it.
If we could federally legalize and the amount of tourism that we would get from other countries coming here, the amount of revenue that...
Like Amsterdam.
Yeah, right. But they're not technically legal. They have a weird loophole in their system, and I don't know exactly how...
Because I was actually in Amsterdam, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have some sort of loophole. I don't know how it works, but they can only have so much on them at a time.
Okay. So, all right, man. Now that you got me high, and now I'm gonna have to go face my kids and and look at my girlfriend and tell her that I'm high, and she's probably gonna look at me different, and No, no one's gonna look at you different. You're still the same person. Yeah, you always will be. I can't show my face in the gym. Then there's a few of us that would never be there, Coach. I know. Do you have any other benefits that you want to convey? I mean, especially talking to the naysayers, that's truly against, legalizing weed and things like that. I mean, this is your opportunity to to speak your side of it. So my only thing that I could say that would really get people to think would be if you had a kid and you lived in a different state and your kid was having seizures that are proven to be helped by using CBD and medical marijuana. Yeah. Would you not
want that for your child? Would you want them to suffer and take pills that aren't helping them?
You know what, man? My sister has seizures, and she actually smokes weed, and she said it helps her, helps reduce the amount of seizures she have. I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I guess the more I talk about it, I feel like I'm getting on your side.
That's what happens.
Yeah, I know.
Once you're open, it's
maybe because I'm just high.
Maybe you just easily influenced.
Yeah, easy influenced. But I mean, there are definitely some benefits to weed, and I'm not 100% against it. I just think as a personal choice, just for me, I will say that I do believe that weed is way better than alcohol or cigarettes. It's funny how they make weed illegal, but yet you could go to the corner store and buy some alcohol and get completely drunk and totally change your personality, or smoke some cigarettes, which have absolutely no benefits.
Yeah,
and very addictive.
Yeah,
and that's legal. But yet weed is illegal. So I feel like the system is a little broken on that.
Yeah, we're in an interesting time right now where I think those things are going to change eventually. They're going to have to, right? Because we can't let our kids smoke cigarettes and get cancer, and we don't want them hooked on those kinds of things, drinking alcohol, crashing cars, It's just not a safe environment.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of the negative things I've read about weed, it's actually is coming from research that was done on young adults. And how sometimes there are some correlations, although the research has been inconclusive on weed making kids. It could worsen a kid that has depression, even give them suicidal thoughts, and things like that. But once again, we're dealing with a child who's not fully developed or have a full understanding, what they're doing in life, and then they take a substance that they also don't understand and maybe taking it in the wrong way, and then it's just going to make the negativity in their life become even worse.
I think that's possible. I do think it is possible. I also think that, nowadays big pharma is such a big thing that they give a lot of antidepressants to younger kids too, and it does a similar effect.
True.
It does make kids suicidal as well, and I think that there's got to be a balance. We've got to figure out a good system, and that's where I think CBD will come in for kids, since it's non-psychoactive. It doesn't alter your state of mind. That for a younger person, I think that would be the smartest way to go.
I definitely agree with that. Because there has been some correlations to high school dropouts and weed smokers. So everything we talked about, I mean, there are facts behind it. So kids that's looking to just get high to get high, I would assume you would say that, to stay away from that or give it a more professional adult.
I think it's you need to learn how to do things and smoke, because I think a lot of people use that as an excuse. I get lazy. Well, maybe you're just always lazy. I don't think you need to blame it on the weed. Because
so you don't think weed makes someone lazy?
I think it can make.
I'm not a scientist or anything, when it comes to weed, but I mean, weed is a depressant, right? So it kind of like supposed to relax you. So if you're smoking weed, I could see how it could make you be like, I'm just gonna chill today.
If somebody maybe has
what's that song? Alpha Man. But I got high. Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to pay my child support, but I got high.
I would have to say that.
I wanted to make love to my girl, but I got high.
No, it doesn't work like that. It definitely doesn't work like that.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I think maybe if
because I'm worried about that. Now that I'm a little bit high, I may want to do some things later on.
You'll be all right.
I'll be all right.
Coach. Yeah.
All right.
You'll have plenty of energy. I think if you have a naturally lazy personality and you smoke weed, I don't think that it's going to help you. For me, I've always kind of been a little bit more of a
go-getter.
A busy person. And so for me, it calms me down. It gets me to focus a little bit better. I don't have to take Ritalin or any crazy drugs like that.
Okay.
So I think it is personal. It does change from person to person. So I can't say that anybody should feel a certain way because of it. But I do think that if you want to use it as an excuse, you're going to use that as an excuse.
I mean, but what about the whole, like, excuse me, we give you the munchies? Is that true? Is that a true statement?
It definitely is true.
Is it true?
And that can be a benefit for some people who have eating disorders, right?
Well,
so it can make them hungry.
Want to eat.
Yeah,
and I think people are like, I remember when my father was fighting cancer and he was doing chemotherapy and radiation, which kind of killed his hunger. Although he didn't smoke weed, that was one of the things I kind of looked into to help him because he was having a hard time eating.
Yes.
And I've heard people that go through that lose their appetite. Yeah. The weed can help them. Yes. Eat some more.
My grandmother actually had a similar situation. She passed from cancer, and I tried to get her to, and she was just too set in her ways.
Yeah, that's kind of like my father.
Yeah, it was not part of the plan for her, and I understand that. I won't force it on anyone.
Yeah.
But I would love for everybody to have that option available.
Okay. All right, man. Phew. Okay. All right. So I think we tackled a lot. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this conversation as we was going back and forth. And, honestly, Dylan, I have to admit you are very well educated on this. You've been, it seemed like you did some research on weed.
I had to do my research. I was coming on here.
Yeah. You had a rebuttal for everything I said. And the truth is, I really wasn't trying to catch you. And I did want an honest conversation for somebody who's a little bit of a weed advocate. Maybe not a little bit, but it was kind of educational for me, man. So I appreciate it.
I know. I'm glad that I could be part of this experience because I know there's a lot of people that are out there that want it to be.
Yeah, I know. I think, man, I kind of maybe want to do this one more time.
Okay, I think there's somebody out there who would probably want to be there with you.
I feel bad because Caleb wasn't here, but we're going to try this one more time and bring Caleb in. I got some other things that I'm holding back because I want to talk to Caleb about.
Okay, we'll see what Caleb has.
Yeah, so part one, the pros and cons to weed. And I don't know if next week, but because Caleb fight next week.
Yeah, he fights on Friday.
Although he did want to do it next week. But we have figured it out. All right, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Leave any comments or anything you're thinking about. If you like this topic, or better, if you actually have something, a viewpoint you want to share, feel free to share with us. And we possibly will bring it up on the next episode of Hardwork, Bad Decisions. You got anything you want to shoot out or shout out?
No, just thanks for having me on, Coach. I appreciate it.
You may have another fight coming up.
I might have another fight coming up.
Yeah.
We're looking for June 15th.
Yeah.
Up in Denver.
Yeah.
If that confirmation comes in soon, I will let you guys know.
Yeah. We can keep this guy busy, man. He's a killer. All right, guys. Enjoy your Sunday. Hard work, bad decisions, the good, the bad, the ugly. Let's talk about it. Yeah.